Today on the grid, someone watching live is going to win an awesome think tank photo streetwalker rolling backpack camera bag. Whew. Our topic is letting go of outdated photography beliefs. Erik Kuna is here with me, and it all starts in just 60 or so seconds.
Grid is brought to you by Tamron. Check out their 28 to 75 millimeter f2.8 lens. It's for Sony full frame mirrorless. It's awesome. Go to tamron-usa.com. And Westcott. Check out their new Rapid Box switch. It has 9 light modifiers and 13 quick swap light inserts. Check it out right now at fjwestcott.com.
And ProPhoto, the light shaping company. Check out the ProPhoto B1X. Power in all the right places. Go to prophoto.com/US.
And Platypod, the tripod alternative that is changing the world. Everybody has a Platypod. You should too. Go to platypod.com.
Hey everybody, Scott Kelby here with Mr. Erik Kuna. How are you, Mr. Kuna?
Hey, good. How are you?
It's not like I haven't been hanging out with you all day.
Yeah, right.
But, you know, I like to see how you're doing in the few seconds between when we're on the air and when we're not. So it seems like you're doing well.
I'm doing well.
All right, good to have you here. Christina is on the moderation, and she's looking all headsetted up today. And glad you guys are here. Hey, so today we're changing the way we do some of our giveaways. We're going to try something different. Now, first, Erik, show us what we're going to win today.
Well, one person's going to win this.
Look at this. Beautiful.
Whoa.
Expensive, amazing, incredibly well built think tank streetwalker. It's a backpack and it has wheels, so it's a rolling backpack, which means you have to walk very low to the ground. No, it's when you're not wearing it, it rolls.
And it has a little backpack. Straps back here.
Oh, it's really nice. And here's how we're changing our contest. Someone watching live is going to win it today. You're going to have a chance of winning that. And someone watching live is also going to win an iPod, not an iPod, a Platypod. A Platypod.
Almost as cool as an iPod.
It's better than an iPod, not as good as an iPhone, but it's way better for supporting your cameras and stuff. Right? Oh, I got to show you a picture. Hold on. Can I show you this?
Yeah,
Hold on.
absolutely. And while we're doing that, we got Patrick from Ireland who has a chance to win. We've got Lenworth saying, "Hey, Grid Nation." Deb, hey, she's hey. Jaspreet saying hello. We got Gary from Phoenix. Pernell from Denmark. And Hilmar says, "Hola, amigos." I think that means hello, friends.
Hello, friends. Hi, Hilmar. Thank you for saying hi. All right, I got to share this picture with you. I'm on video control room too.
Yes. I remember this one.
So we were in. It just kind of messed up here. Let me fix it. Hey-o. All right, see if you got that picture now. So this is us all. We're all shooting on this bridge in Austria.
Yeah, that was in Austria.
And I
right
look at everybody, all of us have Platypods. Like everybody we know, all of our friends, everybody is lining Platypods up on this bridge. Now, and look, nobody has a tripod. Every single person. It's like these things are catching on like mad, and someone's going to win one. And I think everybody there is using an Ultra, right? I don't see anybody using the big one.
There was a couple that I think.
Down the end there,
down
right?
the end had a Max.
All right. Hey, we're going to give away a Max
too. The funniest thing was,
right here.
Remember when we were shooting there, you had Pisco who was walking on the bridge, and everybody's yelling, "Hey, stop walking," because the bridge is like doing that little bounce.
It was Fernando. It was Cheeky Nando.
Was it Nando?
It was Cheeky Nando.
Oh, Nando.
Anyway, we're
Pisco.
giving away the big one, the little one of the Platypods. We're going to give away both of those today on the show. Now, those are all going to be done live in each segment. Then we're going to give away a copy of my Lightroom Classic book if you're watching dead. So not the live people, but the dead people will be able to go to KelbyOne.com/contest and just enter your name, and we'll ship you this book if you win. But everybody else wins live, so it pays to watch live. Yes, it does. All right, so our topic today, and I have to get I want to say it right, so I have to get my notes here in front of me. Our topic today is... It's kind of letting go of outdated photography beliefs.
Yes.
Things are changing very rapidly right now. And so we want to talk about some things that we need to let go of, that we're kind of...
There's things that we've debated in the past, that we can't agree on in the past, that we kind of just need to get past and come together as a photography nation.
As a photography nation. Instead of being split, let's come
together. And just get past it.
And get past it and move on.
Anyways.
There you go.
Let's do that.
Let's do that. All right. I'm going to start with one that's going to be, these are all be controversial, right? I'm going to start with one that some people are going to you're going to argue against this so much.
It's going to hit you in the soul.
But I've seen this turn the corner. I'm telling you, it's something that was unacceptable years ago, and now it has become acceptable. It's become widely acceptable. Ready?
Yep.
It is replacing the sky in your photo.
Yep.
That was, and I'm telling you, I was the last holdout on this. Maybe I was like, I do not replace skies, and every time I replaced the sky, I would never look at that photo the same. I'd be like, I know I replaced the sky, but everybody's doing it. And look at there's look at On One Software and Luminar.
Yeah, Luminar.
They all have these things now to let you replace the sky replacement tools that work really, really well.
Yeah.
And the reason why everybody's rushing to come out with a sky replacement tool is because people have it. Sometimes you can't go to a landscape location 7 nights in a row and wait for the perfect sky.
Well, and even sometimes when you're there 7 nights in a row, like, I mean, we were out just a little while ago. We were out
Arizona,
in Page, Arizona, and Utah and all that. We were there 5 days, right?
We never saw a cloud.
There was a cloud the last day.
On the last day,
when we were pulling
we've already
out,
left.
We're going out.
We're leaving.
One cloud.
One kind of cloud over there, like. And Eric's like, look, there it is. We're leaving, and there's a cloud.
I think I have a picture of it somewhere because I zoomed in on it.
So
I was like, there's the one cloud.
You had good light. You got up early. You did everything right, and then you wind up with like, well,
nothing.
I can't. Now I will say this: I do have my little bit of code of conduct. Here's what I don't like doing. This is just me. You don't have to do this, but I want to take my clouds from that same location. Like, in other words, I don't want to take clouds from Hawaii and stick them in a shot from New York.
Yeah.
I know that most people don't care. And I know a bunch of photographers, big name photographers, who go, oh, yeah, I got a whole folder of these things. And I'm starting to think, maybe I should have a whole folder of clouds.
You should.
I know. I'm really starting to.
The times it's gone. I mean, and I
know, but I want to hear
understand
what you guys think about this. Like, it's become so commonplace. And this used to be so taboo. But I do think it's time.
We got to move on from this.
Yeah,
because,
I think
what it is adding elements to your photo and post are becoming just. If you're not doing it, there's so many other people that are doing it.
You're never going to compete.
Loving what they're doing.
Yeah, you're never going to compete.
I mean, if you look at what people are loving and they're commenting on and they're going and they're buying and they're engaging with. It is photos that have some element sometimes that is added later.
Hey, people are adding skies and
overlays, effects, light rays.
Right. And then they're adding light rays, they're adding the moon, they're adding giant moons, super moons. And, so Brady says if there's no sky, there's no photo 90% of the time. It's perfectly okay.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's a very modern way of thinking. I want you guys to think about this out there because I think it's a thing. I think that we've turned that corner.
Go maybe like 96.7% of the time.
Yeah, because I'm telling you what, and it's not like you didn't put in the effort. Like Eric and I, we got up so early, so very early.
Sun's coming up, nothing.
Spilling coffee on ourselves. And we get there, nothing. So Cheeky Nando, speaking of Cheeky, Nando said soon the AI and software will put the clouds in automatically. Vero says, I think it's great to have a clouds folder. Anything that is at my fingertips and helps me out, I go for it.
I agree.
This is a very forward-thinking crowd we have today.
We love that. We love that.
All right.
Forward-thinking.
Well, because you know what? These things do change over time.
They do.
Things that are acceptable and that weren't acceptable before, definitely change.
We just got to accept it and move on.
And I think that brings us together.
Oh, yes.
Kind of. Anyway.
And then Cheeky Nando's right. The machines will take over the world at a certain point. So.
Oh, here's a good one. Gordon's comment.
Oh, so Gordon says, I agree. The clouds from the same area are much better. Also, we are artists. The artists should have the choice on what they create.
Well, I rather like that.
Well, I do. I like it. I mean, that's where it is. It's up to you. I mean, photography is art, and that is. I mean, you think about it, like that. When painters were doing something, they didn't have to go like, I'm only going to paint the clouds that are in front of me right now. They could have said, well, I saw something 2 weeks ago.
Well, now, guys, I do want to clarify something. Don't add clouds if you're shooting for a magazine or a newspaper and you're doing it for journalistic purposes.
Photojournalism.
Yeah, if you're doing photojournalism,
you can't do that.
Yeah, my hat is kind of crooked there. Okay.
Okay, we'll say that.
Is it worse crooked?
Caveat. I'll say caveat.
There's a caveat.
Yes.
Don't add it if you're shooting for a magazine or a newspaper. If you're doing something important.
At that point, if you were putting clouds in, it would be fake news.
Hey, look at Michael Dow's comment here.
Michael Dow says, I have a bunch of Serge Romali's clouds.
Does
LOL.
Serge make clouds to download?
I think he does.
Son of a gun, why haven't I downloaded them? I just had dinner with Serge the other night.
I think Serge is one of those guys that goes around and just takes photos of clouds.
Hey, can I tell you, I had dinner with Serge, right?
Yeah.
And at the beginning of dinner, he was like, oh, we must go to this great restaurant. And then halfway through the dinner, he's like, so how do you like the bread? I'm sorry, I can't help it. I was even teasing him about that at dinner. At the beginning of Serge's videos, I always joke to him. I said it right. Yep. I always joke to him, because he's a good buddy. I go, I love how French you sound at the beginning of your videos, and then like 10 minutes in, you sound like you're from Cincinnati.
Oh yes, that first line.
The first line, Madame, Monsieur, welcome, it is me, Serge Romali. You're in Paris.
Hey, how you doing?
And then later he's like, so then you go into the file menu and you go to place.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we got Daniel. Daniel saying, hey, Scott and Eric from Zurich, Switzerland. So. He was on your photo walk, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Daniel,
Hey, Daniel, good to see you. All right.
Had some good chocolates.
All right.
Had some good chocolates.
Yeah, he
Bob
did.
says, great to see you live in the studio. Janet, hello from California.
Cali.
So, yeah, I mean, I do think that that's a big one there of adding elements to your photos and posts. It's just becoming commonplace. And like you said, I think the other thing is so many software programs are now letting you do it so easily.
Yeah.
I mean, look at how Photoshop allows you to select and mask. And,
look at the
Luminar
new. Look at Lightroom's new color range.
Yeah, the
and
color
all that.
range.
Oh
exactly.
yeah, it's born for that.
There's so many things you can do.
Except
nowadays.
for while it does the masking for you, there's no facility for you to put it in there. You still have to go over to Photoshop. So what you need to do is just go to Photoshop and use blending modes. Blending modes work really well.
Yep.
Hey, we're going to take a short break. Yep. That's just the first of many of what we have for today. And we do want your questions and comments. When we come back, we're going to have a drawing for this platypod right here. Yeah, we are. We're drawing for this live in just a minute. Stick around. We'll be right back live on the grid.
So get your comments in.
Get your comments in because we pull them from the comments.
When you need a tripod that is compact, that is portable enough to take with you anywhere, one that is adaptable to any situation, that will prove versatile enough for any shoot, and is compatible with your other gear, giving you freedom to create your own perspective. Look no further. Platypod Ultra does it all. Visit platypod.com for more info.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by B&H Photo, the professional source since 1973.
Back. Hey, we did want to mention a couple things. First, how do you enter the contest? We're going to pull it randomly from your comments. So if you want a chance to win, you just say, hi, what's up? Just put your name in there. You don't have to like write something
or you
really...
disagree with something we're saying or agree with it.
Or it's better if you agree. Well, your chances of winning, we told Christina picks them randomly. We said, Christina, only pick people that agree with us and say nice things, right? Is that
no?
that
I
the deal?
told. I
No,
said disagree.
Or that.
Disagree.
All right. So, hey, a couple things. I've got some.
Or you could go for the one thing that we are not giving away live. You can go to KelbyOne.com/contest and enter the form.
You would only go to this contest form if you're not watching live, or you are watching live and you want a chance on winning the my Lightroom Classic book.
Yep.
So there you go. Those. Oh yeah, you can tell us what you want too. In your comment, you go, "I want to win the Platypod." And the one we'll be giving away in just a minute, because since we just told you have to comment, I want to give you a minute to comment. So we're going to give away the Platypod Ultra. So that's what you would say. I want to win the Ultra.
Speaking of gear, I think our next one's about gear.
I was going to say about gear, but before we get to gear, I just want to mention I'm going to be with my new seminar. So I have a seminar that we're on the road with. It is called Photoshop for Lightroom Users. So if you are a Lightroom user, and you think, man, I got to learn Photoshop, my next couple of stops are the Donald E. Stevens Convention Center in Chicago. It's actually the Rosemont Convention Center, but sure, we'll call it the Donald E. Stevens. But anyway, it's out in Chicago. Come on out to Chicago and spend the day with me. I'm going to be in Atlanta at the Cobb Energy Performing Arts Center, which is also the used as the CDC building in Walking Dead Season 2. And I'll be in Fort Lauderdale on Monday, December whatever that is, 15th, 10th, and then the day before I'll be shooting the Dolphins game down there. So it should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. Lots of good times down there. Come out, and if you really want to get really good, really fast, in one day, I'm telling you, I'm going to get you rocking in Photoshop in one day.
And if you have Lightroom, right, and you're subscribed to CCTV, you have Photoshop.
Right.
And there's so many things that Lightroom, that finishing move, right? So there's stuff that you do in Lightroom, and then you
hit the wall.
There's a wall, exactly.
And you're like, I can't do this.
I need to go.
Don't worry,
so
Photoshop
let's go
can.
one step.
Yep, and I'm telling you, in one day, I mean, I read the comments of people that have been to my first few seminars, and they're like, I just had no idea how much I could learn in one day. So in one day, you'll be using Photoshop like a shark. So come on out.
Yep.
Go to KelbyOneLive.com. Okay.
So back to gear.
Back to gear.
Like this Platypod, which
like
is a
this
piece of gear.
Well, I'm really more talking about.
I know, but still.
This is an accessory. Let's talk about cameras and lenses.
Okay.
And look, you guys know, and I know, Eric knows, we know in our heart and soul, it's not about the gear. It's about the photographer. It's not about the gear.
And that's probably the number one thing that when we meet somebody, they're talking about something, you're like, it's not about the gear. It's about you as a photographer getting,
But that's not the thing we want to talk about. It's not about the gear until it is about the gear.
Yes.
We hear this so much, and we all said it. I've said it, Eric said it, and it's true. And I want to frame the context in which it's true. There's a person standing in front of me, and I can hand whatever camera I have, whatever cheap, I can hand my phone, I can hand a point and shoot, I can hand a $400 DSLR to Joe McNally, and he is going to make a wonderful, amazing, incredible photo. No matter what camera or lens I have, Joe will come away with an amazing photo. It's just because it's not about the camera for that particular thing.
Until it gets to a certain point, right?
Until it gets to a certain point, and then all of a sudden it becomes about the gear. And I think that at some point that we really and there are instances where it on a landscape photo with Moose Peterson standing beside you, whatever lens and gear you have, Moose is going to shoot a better photo. But you got to be honest. Why do all the top pros use such good gear? They spend so much money. And by the way, everybody thinks, all the top pros get their gear for free. No, they don't. No, they don't. Most of the people I know all paid their hard-earned dollars to do it. Why did they buy the best lenses and the best bodies? Because it actually does make a difference at some point. And that's the thing that we need to realize. Yes, I'm not saying that it's not true that it's not about the person holding the camera. It will always be about the person holding the camera. But if the person holding the camera is on the sidelines of an NFL game and they don't have a 400 f2.8, you're not going to be making pictures that look like all of the pros standing around you.
And going to go back to your example, if you hand Joe McNally a kit lens and you tell him, hey, make the background really blurry, just make the background really blurry, there's nothing you can do.
He's going to have to be a foot from their face.
Well, there's nothing you can do. I mean, you can just shoot at f5.6 or something like that. But
yeah, if you're shooting at f6.3, you're not going to get a creamy, soft background.
So there's going to be a point when it is about the gear.
Right. And so...
And that's knowing that point.
And I think that we have to realize that you're going to be able to get a certain way with whatever gear that you have, and you'll be able to take good pictures with whatever gear you have. A top pro will be able to get even better pictures with whatever gear you have. But there comes a time where you actually can move to the next level based on the gear. If you're an architectural photographer, you can get pretty good shots with whatever lens you have. But if you buy a tilt shift lens, you're going to be able to correct for problems that would be best suited with a tilt shift lens. And I know that that's another controversial topic. And I know that we want to believe, and I do believe that it has to do with the person holding the camera. I'm not saying that that's not the case. What I'm saying is we all need to wake up at some point and realize that there is great value to a super fast lens. There's great value to a super sharp lens. There's great value to a camera that shoots at high ISOs with low noise. All of these things, for certain topics, there are certain lenses that you're going to have to buy. There are certain camera bodies that you're going to need to do to compete. Or the other people that are willing to invest, you're not going to be able to keep up with them.
And probably
it depends on the genre, depends on the thing.
Probably the one that's the easiest is landscape. I mean, if you really look at it, I mean, landscape's the one where you don't really need a fast lens.
Yep, you don't
really
need an
need a
expensive
crazy
lens.
body. You're not going to be shooting at some ridiculously high ISO.
You need a pretty sharp lens.
You do need a sharp lens.
But you can get, sharp lenses.
You can get a decent sharp lens pretty cheap.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's not that expensive.
Sometimes you can get a super sharp lens for under $1,000.
Yeah.
There are times where if you do your
Absolutely.
research and look at what people are doing, you can find lenses
even
well
around
under.
I mean, even
$1,000.
that new Tamron that came out. I mean, that thing's super sharp.
Can I plug my sponsor here, Tamron? So Tamron let me borrow. They came out with a brand new lens, and it is a 15 to 30 f2.8.
I have the original one.
Right. So this is the version 2. It's called the G2, and it is a gorgeous lens. But I got to take it with me. It is super sharp.
Even the original one, super sharp.
Super sharp, and it's super wide angle. 15 on a full frame, $1,299.
Yeah.
That is for an ultra wide angle zoom is tremendously.
I mean, you think about like the you're talking, if you want Canon or Nikon, you're talking a couple $1,000s at least.
Well, the Canon. Now I have a Canon 11 to 24, which is awesome. It's heavy. So is the Tamron. They're serious lenses. It's $3,000.
Yeah.
So it is wider. It's 11 instead of 15, but it's for the money. How do you beat? And it's sharp.
So like Kevin has a good comment here where he says, "It's not about the gear until the gear isn't keeping you from what you want to accomplish. High ISO for Milky Way
versus keeping up with what you want to
keeping up with what you want to accomplish. High ISO for Milky Way versus stacking."
He's right.
Yeah.
That's where you really do need a super sharp lens, and you need a camera that's good at high ISO.
Yeah. And you need a super fast lens too to shoot the Milky Way.
Oh, good comment from Carla.
So Carla's saying, I've always said that the best camera get the best camera you can, that you can always do what you want with it. For instance, if you don't feel comfortable with taking your camera into the water, getting a shot with it, because I'm always afraid of the risk. Then I've got the wrong camera. Don't get a camera that you're afraid of getting the shot with. So basically, like, don't use the camera that you're going to be afraid of taking the shot, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, I'm going to give you a computer example. People ask me, should I get this computer or that computer? And I'm like, get the faster computer. I think, should I get the bigger display? Always get the bigger display. And the thing that I tell people is, if you buy the faster one, you're never going to be sitting there in front of your computer going, man, I wish I bought the slower computer.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I'd saved a few bucks and just bought a slower one. You're never going to say, I wish I bought a smaller monitor. I wish I bought a slower computer. Or I wish I bought a camera that wasn't as good. You know, and I'm not saying don't go into hawk and stuff. Hey, this is an interesting one from Jerry Gilbert.
I got an old belief we can drop sharpness.
I'm not sure what you mean by that, Jerry. Can you expand a little on that in the comments? And by the way, by commenting, Jerry, of course, you're entered to win. Let's go to, speaking of that, while Jerry's doing that.
Are you saying I got an old belief that everything's kind of sharp anymore? I don't know.
All right, so.
We'll see.
Christina, it's time to pick a winner for our Platypod picked at random.
Yeah, and Melanie has a great comment there.
You got somebody?
Oh, we got somebody. Yeah. Patrick McDonald.
Patrick McDonald, you just won a Platypod Ultra. Fits in your pocket. You know what was interesting? Somebody yesterday sent me a note on Instagram. I did a picture there. I did a picture on Instagram. And he sent me a note and said, so you're using a Platypod? Aren't they heavy?
Yeah.
They weigh nothing. The Platypod Ultra, let me see if I can see how many ounces it is. It's literally ounces. Now, the old F plate I used to use before the Platypod was heavy.
Because it's aluminum. It's not. It's not like
commercial
metal.
Grade aircraft aluminum.
It's not like metal. It's like aluminum.
How much it weighs?
I'm trying to think of like a comparable thing. You know, like a memory card holder or.
Well, there's how much a platypus weighs came up. Hang on. I'm gonna see if I can.
Oh, awesome!
All right. So was it Patrick that won? Patrick said you just made my week. Thank you. Well, you're very welcome, Patrick. Let me just see if I can tell you.
It weighs about as much as
3.2 ounces.
I was going to say like 2 screw-on ND filters.
It's 3.2 ounces. It's so small, and it literally, you can fit it in your shirt pocket right here. You pull it out. So anyway, Patrick, you're getting this one now.
It's super lightweight, but
we're
it's
still
sturdy.
giving away the big boy.
Which doesn't weigh much more.
I can't show you. It's big. It's big. It's the big version of it, and we're going to give that away. It's still not very heavy, but it is heavier.
It is heavier. The Ultra is
This is 13 ounces. This is 13 ounces. This is 3 ounces, so it's 10 ounces more.
Yeah, that's the featherweight.
Still not even a pound.
So Melanie had a great comment here. Melanie Kernfavilla saying, master the gear you have, then upgrade. I think that's, again, we go back to, I think it's what Melanie's saying, the same thing we say to a lot of people is sometimes we think that, if I just had this better gear, they'd make better photos. If you're at that stage, I agree with Melanie. Master the gear you have, then upgrade. Yeah, because you'll hit a wall, and when you hit that wall, you'll know, because if you master it, you'll know, the reason I'm not getting the photo I need to get is because I don't have X.
Yeah, I would say this. Whatever camera you have, whatever brand, make, and model, your camera is perfectly capable of making great photos. But what the other gentleman said earlier was, you're going to get to a point where the photo that you want to make, you can't make with your gear. So I want us to be aware and kind of,
so we're going to accept that, and we're going to move on.
We're going to accept that sometimes it's about the gear. We're going to come together as a photography nation.
As a one photography nation.
And take a break.
On a break.
When we come back, we're going to be giving away this bad boy. And then, of course, we've got the think tank coming up in a little while. Stick around. We're live here on the grid.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by Canon.
Make sure you don't miss any episodes of The Grid by subscribing to Apple's podcast app or iTunes. It's free, and we even have a special audio-only version, too. So sign up
But
today.
it does.
Don't let it get you.
I'm sorry.
All right. Hey, we're back. Eric and I are just, a lot of weird stuff happens on the breaks here where we have conversations that are just, anyway. Hey, I just want to mention that this past Monday, I announced the winners of my 11th annual Worldwide Photo Walk. Man, we have some good photos this year. So that day right there, those are the honorable mentions, okay? So these are ones that didn't win. Really good photos from all over the world. We had almost 1,000 cities around the world participate, and they won some really, really cool stuff. They're not the honorable mentions. The honorable mentions just got in.
Well, there were so many great photos, right? There were so many great photos.
Can we go back earlier in the week?
Can
we go? So that was like on Wednesday or something, or Tuesday, or I don't know. But it was.
That was Monday, and then Friday was
it this Monday or a week ago Monday?
It was Monday, and then.
There we go.
Yep.
So these are the winners. So these are the 10 finalists. These people all won prizes, and they're from all over the world. That's from the Philippines. The Philippines always have great photographers. I don't know. They got some serious. Look at that great reflection there. In the next shot, look at that beautiful reflection in a car.
Yeah,
that's a hard shot to make, and make it look cool. And they really did it, and that's really cool. I love this one right here.
Yeah.
In this, I love shots that tell a story. Another one from the Philippines. I thought that was.
That's an interesting one because usually, a scene like that, it's so busy, but it works.
Yeah, I thought was really cool. This one is from. Where was this from?
It's from Brazil.
In Brazil, yeah. In São Paulo, Brazil. Look at all of how everything just came together. It's like a chef, and he's standing there on a yellow thing, surrounded by red, and the arrows, and there's an arrow right above his head. And then you have a little bit of a fisheye effect on the buildings. That was cool. It's a well-crafted photo. And then look at this one. Now, I will tell you this. I was much more impressed with this photo when I thought he was reading something, and that's a cell phone. I thought, ooh, he's reading some, religious thing. It's not. Yes. No. And look at this one. It's a beautiful shot. And I don't like insects. I don't like insects, but that's a beautiful shot. And those are not insects. Those are happy bugs. And let's see. And look at that. How nice. That's in California. California knows how to party. Now, this shot's been done to death where someone stands in front of a picture, but the way she blends into that photo and her head pops up above the line and all, and the scale of the art, and I thought that was a really interesting. We're coming down to the winner here. Great gesture from the little boy on the left. Really nice. The thing that makes the silhouette work is when it's very clear what the silhouette of. Very clear and understandable. These are kids. That's a building. Look at these reflections, and look at that with this chair in the water.
Yeah, that was interesting. It kind of looks like a movie poster.
That one almost won. That one almost. Yeah. That was really. These are all of these really at one point were up for could this win? And then the winner, who won all kinds of stuff: Canon mirrorless camera, Canon printer, a Drobo, a bunch of
a bag we're giving away,
and a think tank bag we're giving away. And there's the winning image from Cairo, Egypt. And you could say, oh, it's just a couple of guys playing dominoes. But there's so much going on here.
Look at him hiding the domino, but then he's got his hand up.
And then the other one, it's you can get a little bit of the personality of these guys, and the shooting over the shoulder up high like that. There's the tones, all the tones in it. And it's just, anyway, a really, really wonderful image. And congratulations to Omar, who won that. Really just from, I said from Cairo. It's from Alexandria. I've been to Alexandria, Egypt. Very cool place. So congratulations to everybody. Now, we have one more competition that we're going to announce on Friday, which is a competition of the Photo Walk leaders. So that is coming on Friday, and it'll also be on my blog. I hope you'll check it out. All right, we're back, and we are talking about, we have a new one we're talking about here. Yes. So we've already talked about adding things like skies.
Yep.
We've talked about sometimes it's about the gear. And sometimes there is a group of people who believe that they've learned how to do these things, and since they took the time to learn how to do post-processing, and it was hard for them, and it took a long time, that people should not be able to click a preset or use a plugin or click an action, because that's cheating.
Yeah, so using presets, actions, and plugins in your photo is cheating.
Okay.
Right?
First off, we've had plugins forever. Do you remember? I'm gonna. Anybody out there remember Kai's Power Tools?
Oh yeah.
You're talking 20-something years ago for these plugins. Plugins like Alien Skin and Kai's, and they were out there 20 years ago. Plugins that let you choose a preset and click OK are not something new. And look, the fact that you learned it the hard way, you should be glad that you don't have to do it. Like, I know how to do a multi-layer technique that lets you create a tonal effect. Like you create these filters and you use different, you have linear light, and you do all these different things. And when I'm done, it creates a really nice, like, high contrast tonal effect.
Yeah.
I learned it from Calvin Hollywood. It's a lot of steps.
Or you can hit a button.
Or you go to Nick Color Effects, or you go to Luminar, or you go to On One, and you go tonality. Boom, there it is. And you
But here's the thing: is like, see, you learned the original way to do it, but all you needed to know is that's the look you wanted.
Right.
So if you just know that that's the look you wanted, if you're just hitting a button, I don't think that's any different than if you did it yourself. You know, like muscled it out.
What do
like
I
really
gain
struggled with it
by wasting my time making layers and changing linear light?
But this
and
has always been a thing in photography. I mean,
know.
you got to think back in the day, the one that used to get under my skin the most, and that's what we were talking about at the break, is there was people back in the digital, age, it's starting up and it's getting through it, the comment that they would make, and I'd love it. I'd see it on their blogs, or I'd see it on the old MySpace
every
or whatever.
day today.
You still see it today, but it's all in camera, or no post.
Is that straight out of the camera?
Straight out of camera.
Now,
and you're like, what? You took this straight out of the camera? Like, why would you do that?
Right. Well,
why would you do that?
I see the opposite. I put up a picture, and we just had this on our last webcast.
Yeah.
I put up a picture, and someone goes, "Is that straight out of the camera?" Why? Why? Your camera, when you shoot in RAW, it's different if you shoot in JPEG. When you shoot in RAW, your camera basically turns off everything. It turns off the sharpening, the noise reduction, the contrast.
It gives you a raw photo.
You a flat
that you have to
photo.
cook. You have to cook it.
It has to be processed.
That's why it's raw.
The
you have to
JPEG
cook
is
it.
processed. That's why JPEG photos look better coming out of the camera than RAW photos. JPEG photos look way better.
They've been cooked.
They've been sharpened. They've had contrast. They've had vibrance added. They have had noise reduction added. They've had all these things added to give you a final processed image. The RAW photo out of your camera is designed to look horrible. It's designed to look flat, unless you use Capture One, in which case Capture Raw cooks it for you. When you use Capture One and put a raw photo in there, it applies a look to your photo.
Well, so Bronco's saying, well, when does a photo stop becoming a photo and turn into a piece of digital art?
When it doesn't look like a photograph anymore. If it looks like a painting, but I mean, obviously, there are people who want to say if you did anything to it, and now it's
digital art or something. Is that maybe?
I rarely see a photograph that has been pushed so far, except for some of the old HDRs.
Yeah, those ones where it's just like out of this world. It's like,
though, I saw a super over-the-top HDR this last week. It was it was on Instagram. I'm like, I mean, it was like, it's like the HDR you don't see anymore. It was that.
Yeah.
It had the glows. It had the black shadows behind the clouds. It had the whole 9 yards.
But that's when you get down to it. Like, when does a photo go over to digital art? Like, I think really probably the definition more is, when does a photo become a photo? Because, just taking a raw photo or taking a JPEG photo and not processing it and making it look, I mean, that's still a photo, but you could definitely do better if you processed it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, no camera is going to be perfect at capturing. I mean, all a camera can do is do what? What does a camera do?
It does three things.
What does it do?
Makes your photo brighter or darker.
Yep.
It freezes motion or it doesn't freeze motion. And then basically you can decide whether you want the background behind your subject in focus or out of focus.
That's it.
That's
right?
pretty much what your camera does.
That's what a camera does. The rest of it is what you do in the dark
post.
in the dark room. The same thing they did back in the day in the dark room, right?
Yeah.
That's what they did. So anyways.
So yeah.
So maybe we just got to get on past this
one.
one.
I would say please stop asking the question, is that out of camera? The answer is
can we just get past that one?
No.
Please.
Move on. We're all
Please.
Post-processing our photos.
Please.
And if you're not, you should be post-processing your photos.
Please.
Number 4, all right? And this is one that we're still in this slumber that we need to snap out of it. Mirrorless cameras are not lighter. When you buy a mirrorless camera system, when you put a good lens on it,
Oof, this
it's
is gonna be
as heavy.
controversial.
It is as heavy as a DSLR. Ken Rockwell went and weighed a Nikon DSLR with a decent lens, took a Sony mirrorless with the same lens, and the Nikon was 3 ounces less than the Sony mirrorless. I talked to somebody, and my head almost exploded the other day where somebody was telling me, I'm thinking about getting the Sony because I want to go with something lighter. I'm like, are you out of your freaking mind? It's not lighter. And so, you know what's lighter? If you go with what's called the Kathy Perepsky version. Kathy Perepsky bought some Fuji mirrorless with a lens.
The 4/3, right?
Yeah. She bought a lens that is like $7 lens, it's like some. That's the only light mirrorless. You have to say, I don't really care about quality anymore. I just want it to be light. Well, in that case, just use your phone.
Yeah, the phones are getting really
But
good.
outside of that, if you're going to buy a Canon, a Nikon, or a Sony mirrorless, it is going to be every bit as heavy and big and bulky as your DSLR. And by the way, if you go to Canon makes a DSLR, I kid you not, it's this big.
SL1?
Is it the SL1?
I think
it's
it is.
the tiniest
It's
little
really small.
interchangeable camera
Smaller than any full
smaller
frame,
than any mirrorless.
mirrorless.
So I understand and I totally get it. The older I get, the more I hate carrying gear. So I totally 100% understand you saying to yourself, I want a smaller, lighter camera. Just don't be a fish. Don't go buy a Sony, a Canon, or a Nikon mirrorless thinking it's going to be any lighter than your DSLR, because when you put a good lens on it, it's every bit as heavy. The lens is almost heavier than the camera.
Yeah,
you put a 70-200 on it, game over.
Well, can I add one thing to this, though?
Yeah.
There's a caveat. I have a caveat to this, right?
There's a caveat to everything.
Yeah, there is a caveat to everything. While they're not so much lighter. It is the future, right?
Yeah, but that's not what the comment isn't
No.
about. Will
But
mirrorless
I'm
be
saying
where
that
everything's going?
But that's what some people are getting caught up with too. Is mirrorless is the future. That's where all the cameras are going. So also get rid of this whole thing that DSLRs are going to be the future and all that stuff.
I think DSLRs are going to be around for many, many years.
I think they'll be around for many years, but mirrorless is going to be the future.
Yeah, I think that mirrorless will be because there are advantages of it.
Yeah.
You know what? One of the things I love. So I had to send my Canon EOS R back until I can buy one. But I'm trying to get a deal. Like, remember the one I used for a month? Can I buy it back? It's used. It's been everywhere.
Yep.
Like one of the little things I like about that Canon mirrorless that we both used is
it's great.
When you turn off the camera, it puts a door over the sensor to keep you from getting sensor dust.
Yeah.
It's little stuff like that.
Little stuff.
So I do think that I really liked. I love that camera. That's probably been one of my favorite cameras I've ever used.
It's the future.
I'm going to wind up buying it, hopefully at a deal. A used one's fine. The one I had, if I could have just kept it.
Well,
But they don't.
anyway.
Wait a minute, Scott. Don't you get all your gear for free? Sure. Yeah, companies are sending me free cameras all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Not. Anyway, but...
So we got a couple comments coming in.
Go ahead.
So Brady, off of our last one, was saying, knowing how to edit your image is just as important as taking the photo, just like the darkroom. These days, even more important.
Agreed.
Totally 100%.
agreed.
And then Ramy's commenting. So Ramy, who you're going to workship with him
in January. Yeah, January.
So
come freeze with us.
Yeah. He's saying I'm exploring Tenerife. I don't know where that is, but
Someplace
anyways,
in Canada.
He's exploring
No one
somewhere.
knows where anything in Canada
And he said I couldn't get my composition right without the platypod.
Right.
I had to get low with the platypod. The platypod was the only option.
There you go.
And that is the thing with the platypod. It can get you so low to the ground. And then, there's the workshop.
Oh, there's the workshop. There's the workshop.
I think if you go there, you got a code, Kelby. And Kelby, that code will give you $800 off.
$800 off the workshop.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So,
wait, where do they go to learn about this workshop? Where can we send them?
Oh, they go to his website, ramtonkazemi.com. But if you go to bit.ly.com/Kelby Canada, that
there
takes
we
them
go.
to it.
Canada, eh?
So,
Burr. Burr.
So, Mateo is saying another important point with the equipment is to test its personality. The number of people that rely on online tests or forum options and something they just bought.
Forum opinions.
Forum opinions, sorry.
I'm not going to let you read
Man,
these. You were having a tough
I'm having
time.
a tough time today. Why don't you read it?
Another important point with the equipment is to test it
eyes are going.
personally. A number of people rely on an online tester or forum opinions, and sometimes they just buy a camera or lens that's not actually suitable for their needs.
There you go.
I can read. It's
I
so
know.
exciting.
I
Hey,
know, right?
let's give this away before the break because we got to give away more stuff. This is the Platypod Max. It is the big one. So this is when you want to put a big camera in a big way. It'll take a little camera too. But it is 13 ounces as opposed to 3.5, but still wonderful.
Yeah,
It's
the
the
other
king.
one's
It's the king. And the winner
light.
is Mariana Ludford.
So Mariana.
Oh,
And the
the
computer
just went,
died.
but we got her name out. Mariana
So,
Ludford.
Mariana
Congratulations.
Ludford.
You just
Yep.
won the Platypods, Platypod Max. Yay, Mariana.
Now we do have to take a break.
Yeah, we're going to take a break because Christina, did your computer just blow up?
It just blew up.
Wow, it started installing
Sweet.
software.
Sweet.
It's probably a virus of some kind. We'll be right back. Don't go away. It's virus time. Mariana.
Photography is a performance art. So that every time I go to a location now, I walk away with a storybook of not only the hero, but vignettes. I love little scenes. I love component parts that make up the whole. It's more than just using your eyes. It's listening, it's feeling, it's making choices and determinations that bring your point of view into your image. Be specific, make really strong choices. Take a moment, and even when you think you have the shot, question yourself and say, is there more? And take it as far as you can. The more we do it this way, in a really present way, in a joyful way, in a loving way, and bringing, everything we have to the moment, the more it spreads into your image.
I'm Dave Williams and I'm inviting you to a brand new course on KelbyOne, Cinematic Drone Photography. I'll be showing you everything you need to create the best photos and the best video from your drone. How to replicate things that are done in Hollywood movies to make the best cinematic videos and photos that you can, and to really stand out among the crowd in this ever-growing drone market. With the rise of commercial drones becoming much more affordable, you need to be the one that stands out among the crowd, and I'm going to show you how to do that.
To be a successful artist, you gotta have a great art, but you gotta have a great marketing. And YouTube is one of the greatest marketing weapon out there on this planet. I think the first step is to find your voice. What is it that you want to do on YouTube? Get inspiration from existing YouTube channels. Title is king and thumbnail is queen in the world of YouTube. 90% of the traffic I get is from suggested videos, and it only comes because I'm a regular. But that's how I grew from 0 to 500,000 subscribers. Bonjour, my name is Serge Germany. I want you to check out my latest class, How to Grow Your YouTube Channel. It's amazing and it's gonna blow your mind. Exclusively on KelbyOne.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by Platypod, the world's most compact tripod base.
Amen.
Hey, we're back. Scott Kelby here with Erik Kuna.
Hey, how's it going?
They're not going to answer back.
Especially not that we don't have comments.
Yeah, we don't have comments. Our comments,
But it's coming
screen's
back.
gone,
It's
so
coming back.
It's going to make even that
slowly
think
but
tank back
surely.
hard. I can tell you.
It's going to be interesting.
Christina looks concerned. Did you get it fixed? It's updating.
Boy.
Is it doing an automatic update of your operating system? Oh my gosh!
Oh, we're
Automatic
gonna have
updates.
to jump on the chat some other way.
All right.
Yeah, we're good.
So,
We
what did
got
I
it.
want to say? Did I have anything I wanted to talk about? Oh, I do want to point you to my blog today for my guest post. So every Wednesday is Guest Blog Wednesday. Today, my guest blogger is a very dear friend and an amazing sports photographer. He's a humanitarian photographer. He's just an awesome guy. And it is Big Daddy Don Page, military photographer as well. Big Daddy Don, and he just did a humanitarian trip. I think it was to Guatemala, I believe. So go check it out. I think it was Guatemala. Go check it out. He always is such an inspiring person and has inspiring stories. And he's an incredible sports photographer, but he shoots all kinds of things. He's got we can see her.
Yeah,
we can see her
Apple update.
computer rebooting on our screen. That's weird. Anyway, go to scottkelby.com and check out Don's thing. Every Wednesday, it's another person that is our guest blogger, and it's been a wonderful program. I have to give a shout out to Vincent Versace, who came up with the idea many years ago, like 6-7 years ago or more, to do a guest blog Wednesday. So I could actually figure out how many years it's been, but it's been a lot. Maybe 10 years. Could be 10 years easily.
Only 42 minutes remaining.
Only 42 minutes remaining before her computer is updated. Wow, that's harsh.
All right.
It's going to be a long show.
Well, she's got the chat up on her phone.
Okay.
So we're good. We're back.
Okay,
We're back
all
in
right.
business.
We're back in business.
It's just going to be
All
a
right.
shouted out.
So here is the last one. The last topic we're going to cover today about these things that we need to let go of. You need to let go of Facebook and Twitter and Google Plus and anything else because nobody cares about anything but Instagram anymore. Look, I got 350,000 people that follow me on Twitter. That won't get me a cup of coffee. If I had 350,000 people that follow me on Instagram, I could write my own story. I could get anything. The whole industry, like when I go and I get permission to shoot someplace, or I do some kind of shoot, or I shoot with professional models, or all anybody cares about is Instagram.
That's all they want you to
never
tag me on
say,
Instagram.
"Tag
Mention
me
me.
on Instagram."
Yeah.
They never say, can you give me a shout on Twitter? Can you follow me on Facebook? Nothing. Absolute zero. It is though in photography, Facebook and Twitter don't even exist. Now, I know that the photographers are out there that will tell you, well, Scott, I get most of my wedding work off of Facebook. That may be, but nobody cares about Facebook. Now, with Facebook, you're more likely, oh, that's such a pretty picture.
Yeah, it is.
On Facebook, you're more likely to get a local bride to find you
Yes.
through a referral or something like that. But as far as getting your work noticed in the big picture or becoming an influencer, which is now a thing, any of that, I'm telling you, the rest of the industry could care less about anything
let's be honest.
but Instagram.
What's Twitter for, right?
Yeah, Erik, what's Twitter for?
It's for ranting, complaining,
Ranting and attacking,
and attacking,
complaining, and being a troll.
and being a troll.
What's Facebook for?
It is for telling everybody how awesome your life is.
Yeah, but it's for making your life look better than it really is.
So much better than it is.
What's Instagram for?
Sharing photos.
That's it. If you're a photographer and you're not on Instagram, you're missing out. And every day that you're not on Instagram, you're going further and further down that
Google
rabbit hole.
Plus is shutting down. So they announced that
Google
that's
Plus
shutting
is shutting down.
in
Well,
a couple
wow.
months.
I think it shut itself down a long time ago.
Well, it is. It's next
Brad
month.
says, I wonder if it's Brad Moore. No, it's just Brad. Just Brad in general. Says, I job interviewed, and the only thing they checked out was my Instagram.
That's true.
They didn't check your Twitter and your Facebook, no. And so, as a photographer, when you realize and let go of these other ones, you can focus on the one that actually matters.
to
focus
photographers,
to photographers, to employers, to clients, to galleries, to people that are going to license your images and all that stuff that you want to do. If you want a chance of making money in photography, you have got to be on Instagram. And honestly, the more time you spend on Facebook and Twitter, the less likely you're further away you're moving from your Instagram.
Especially Twitter. I'd say Facebook, like you said, local stuff, like you're talking about, there is an argument for it.
Right. There is from like wedding photography or something. Okay, I'm going to give you my Instagram tip of the day. Ready?
Yep.
Want to be a success on Instagram?
Yeah.
Only post one photo a day.
I learned that from you.
I learned it from Instagram. Instagram will tell you straight up. Actually, Instagram had a test for advertisers. So if you have a business account, they give you a test, and they would say, which of these accounts is going to be more successful? The one that posts one photo a day or the one that posts 3 photos? One. It's always one.
You know, I've been trying to talk to somebody in this room, Juan, about doing this. But Juan always posts these awesome photos, but he does like one after another. I'm like, one a day, Juan.
One a day.
One a day.
There's Juan. There we
go.
Boom.
There's over 1,000 people.
Look at that. He's well over 1,000, and we saw it all happen.
Stuff.
And look, he's got a great
look at
photo.
That shot
look
of
at the shot.
That second one. That's
awesome.
Look
at that beautiful shot of Haleakala, and look at that beautiful shot of that camera.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And look at that beautiful shot of Juan having fun in Hawaii. It's got 70 loves.
Look at that one.
Look at that. Boom. And that's Juan on the far right, and there's another guy in the middle. Anyway, but guys, here's what if we could do anything for you today, I hope it is that you realize how important Instagram is to the industry right now. It's all anybody cares about.
But Lauren has a good question here. I can read this. Should I have 2 accounts? One for photography, one for personal?
Oh,
Question mark?
Look, if you want one for your friends where you're going to share pictures of your cat, absolutely. Yes, have one that
if you're going to do that, just make
an
Instagram for your cat. You know?
Let your cat, like my wife has one for our dogs. We have 2 dogs.
My wife has one for our bunny.
We have Maggie the Wonder Dog, and now we've got Maki the Super Dog. Yeah. And so she has a hilarious, cute cat.
Yeah, we have Happy the Goober, which is our bunny. And
Happy the Goober?
Yeah, Happy the Goober. And then my sister-in-law has Ollie, the puppy. He's an Ollie the dog.
Hey, I want to give Carissa Norton McGee an award. Here's what she wrote. Like an apple, one a day. Are you listening, Juan? Yeah. That was for you.
One a day.
Erik, how do you feel about giving away a think tank, streetwalker, rolling backpack? Show it. Show it.
Boom.
Look at this bad boy, brand new. And by the way, the side pockets filled with cocaine. So it's worth a lot.
Wow, I'm gonna check that out.
And that's because this was Jason's bag.
Oh, hey, look at that. We'll take that out.
We'll
take that out.
Okay, we'll take it out. Anyway, an incredible bag from an incredible company. Their stuff is amazing. And we're going to pick a winner right now.
And we will have the DEA in here next week.
No, the DEA doesn't care about us.
All right, one winner.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
This bag's going a long way.
Oh, this FedEx bill.
I can't believe it. Rose Kieran from New Zealand, one of our longtime viewers, just picked up a beautiful think tank bag.
There you go, Rose.
Congratulations, Rose. See, watch it all these years paid off. Finally, Rose.
Coming to you.
Paid off for you. Finally, after all these years, that bag's going to New Zealand. You know how much that's going to cost us? Send us $500. But it can be New Zealand dollars. It's okay.
Yep, we'll get it.
Congratulations, Rose. Holy cow. See, Rose has been, how many years has Rose been watching? She's a very faithful viewer.
Yeah, a long time.
So we're very happy for you, Rose. Well done.
All right.
And we have a minute. No, we're over by a minute and 19 seconds.
And if you didn't win and you wanted to win the Lightroom Classic book, you go to KelbyOne.com/contest and you can enter.
Yeah, you can win the book here. Oh, yes. You can win 3 things. You can win the book at KelbyOne. You can win an hour one-on-one with the fabulous Victoria Pavlov, who is an incredible Photoshop digital artist, and she'll give you a one-on-one session with her.
Yeah.
Or you can win a $50 gift card so you can rent stuff from Lens Pro to go. It's USA only, so don't like.
Because
if you
we all
live
know
in
sometimes it's about the gear.
Slovenia. Sometimes it's about the gear.
So you might want that lens.
You might want that lens. So
because
go
you're
check
like,
it out.
I need that gear.
All right, thanks to all of our sponsors. I also want to give a special shout out to Canon USA, who was the sponsor of my worldwide photo walk. They provided a lot of great prizes throughout. So did Adobe. Adobe had a lot of great prizes for our members. And also, I want to give you one more thing. We did not raise as much money as we'd hoped to raise this year for the Springs of Hope Orphanage, which is the main main reason we support the Worldwide Photo Walk. It's the Worldwide Photo Walk is to support that orphanage in Nakuru, Kenya. Go to springsofhope.org or go to the Worldwide Photo Walk page.
If you go to the Worldwide Photo Walk, it's right
go to the
down
Worldwide
there.
Photo Walk page, worldwidephotoWalk.com, and you will see a place called Donate, and all 100% of what you get goes there. It is.
Yeah,
walking
well, I don't
for a
have it
good
up,
cause. But if you can give $1 or anything you can, it would really help. They count on us every year to come up with that donation to help them. They really need it. 51 children that they have in the orphanage, and so if you would help us out, it would mean a lot. Thanks so much, everybody. Thank you, Christina. Juan a day. Ron, who's just streaming. Our ambassador
I think
of streaming.
He saved the computer
You guys,
situation. here.
8-1. Ohio State. He's an Ohio State fan. 8-1.
Oh yes, I'd like to shout out to Rob Foldy, UCF, still undefeated.
Still undefeated. But you know what? Bring it back down, Juan. UCF is ranked like number 10. They're not even going to make the playoffs.
12.
They're 12.
12.
LSU, who has 2 losses.
Ohio State's 10. Ugh.
Ohio State going to make the playoffs? It's possible.
Not likely.
How is LSU, who lost to Alabama, Roll Tide, lost to Alabama? They have 2 losses and they're like at number 8. There's undefeated teams teams with 1 loss. Ohio State has 1 loss and you're ranked behind LSU.
Yeah.
How is that even possible?
And UCF just won.
They're just enamored with SEC teams.
21st game in a row.
Yeah, but their strength of schedule, they're not playing anybody.
Anyways, let's get out of here.
They're playing like the Illinois Boys Choir. They're playing. I'm seriously.
Please.
That's why they're ranked low.
This is all you guys.
Thanks, Jason, in the booth.
Go Knights.
Well, the Knights are fine, but they're just not. They couldn't beat Alabama's 2nd string, 3rd string. They couldn't even beat the coaches.
We'll see.
They couldn't beat
one day.
You will.